that gave us access to be able to do our commentary. So thank you very much, Suraj. That's him. But I put him with Aliu Mahama for a reason. I'll tell you that. Okay. And then this is Suraj by himself. And this is Ekufu Dampare. Okay. Now you know the actors that I'm going to be talking about. Let's hear the tape again. The one that we played. Let's hear it again.
This man is not a lawyer. He has no fair idea of the law. He has never been on the field. It was NDC that was promoting him day in, day out. When Massa was assistant superintendent of police, he was a sergeant. You were what? Sergeant. Sergeant.
I told her
Sergeant. Then NDC brought you this far. Now, what he's bragging about is the fact that he will be IGP to 2030, because your mama has promised him if he should win, may God forbid anything, if he should win, he will maintain him as a
Who was there to hear this?
Oh, it is true. Wait, a meeting was held, of which he was a party to that meeting. And where he was eating
NDC
meeting headed by your mama.
And
this thing is not coming from you. You can Google it. You see.
I know that.
You can go to Ghana Web. Yes, the number of
you go what?
Ghana. Go to Ghana Web. Let your boys do it for you. You see it. Paul Adum Ochery. It is one of his recent episodes. This was the topic. This was the subject matter. This was what was discussed.
And that our MPP.
So you mentioned his name publicly, Paul Adum Ochery. What about his
possible vice presidential candidates? Includes football chair, includes Dampare. What would be his wife?
Yes, if he should win. But all these things Dampare is doing.
But are you saying that President Nanado doesn't hear this?
Who will tell you?
Nanado doesn't know, but who will tell him? Okay. So let's set out the conversation from here. We'll get to the new parts soon. So the conversation is about three people. Bugri Nabu is certainly one of them. They don't know who recorded it, but it has to be one of the three of them. So the ones who spoke to me says that he didn't record it. There's another police officer, then Bugri Nabu is there. They suspect that the recording may have been carried out by Bugri Nabu, but that's neither here nor there. That's immaterial. This is Dr. Dampare, the IGP, isn't it? Okay. Now, in the recent history of Ghana, we have seen President Akufo-Addo being very resistant to some of the changes that has been asked for by people. And in the current tape, we heard the people saying that who will tell the president, who's not telling. They said that some people in the president's cabinet are with him. Now, Bugri Nabu does not represent much in terms of MPP right now. He's not the regional chairman anymore. He's not minister, deputy minister. He's not cabinet. He's not the president's kitchen cabinet. He doesn't connect to any of the power bases in the party at this time. So having a conversation with him is okay. But these people were campaigning to him that he, Bugri Nabu, should carry on the information to the important people because the president doesn't listen. That's the point they're trying to make. Now, here is President Akufo-Addo, who has had his members of parliament, there are 137 of them, about 90 of them come to him say, sack the finance minister. Has he sacked the finance minister? No, he hasn't. So that he's going to be under pressure to sack Dr. Dampare is unlikely. And it's not the way Akufo-Addo governs. We've seen him sack this, sack that. The whole country rose up and said, cabinet reshuffle. We shouted, and I shouted some. Everybody shouted, cabinet reshuffle, president reshuffle your cabinet. He came out and said, I shall not reshuffle my cabinet. Everybody's doing well. In fact, some MPP communicators were concerned that the president's statement might make the government unpopular because people think ministers are not doing well. So that is the makeup of the president. And the conversation so showed, by the way, I was told that this conversation happened before Asin North. It didn't happen recently. It happened before Asin North. The people who had the recording have had it for a while, and they decided to release it at this time for some reason. We don't know. But in the conversation, they alleged very serious things about themselves and about the politicization of the police. Now, can an IGP help anybody to win election? so that you say take IGP from there and then you can win the election. Now, the guy who called me said that they didn't say that they are not about winning election. They are saying that they, the police people, they will not vote. They will not. They are not interested because they have difficulties with Dr. Dampare. Those of them who have difficulties with Dr. Dampare, they will not vote. That's really the point they are making. But let's come back to the story. So the allegation is that IGP is there. Some political parties don't want him because if IGP is there, they cannot win the election. And so the other side of the politics, NDC people say that keep the IGP, don't sack him, when nobody has said he's going to sack him. I mean, this tape of 2 police officers, one of them who's spoken to me, and Bugri Nabu, does not accentuate a sacking agenda of an IGP. In any case, whether the IGP likes it or not, if people cast a ballot, they've cast the ballot. The concerns about Asin North have been raised. I'll deal with some of them. But this tape was recorded before Asin North. So this was nothing to do with Asin North. Those MPP people, especially the MPP General Secretary, who had complained bitterly about Dr. Dampare and the police presence in Asin North and the police executions in Asin North. And I don't mean execution by shooting, but the job that they did, the job they carried out, the job they executed in Asin North, had come after this tape. This tape predates Asin North. So it's not a reaction to Asin North. No, far from that. It is something they've been talking about already. Now, Dr. Dampare is said to be, the police want him out because, as they told Bugri Nabu, if you don't take him out, you cannot bring the aids. Now, they have to build that story, shouldn't they? Because Bugri Nabu is a politician. So they are telling him, unknown to them, they were not sure where Bugri Nabu is coming from. Now they know where he's coming from. They've told a few people how it happened. And I think the security people have looked at the tape and they've done all the forensic and they know who was speaking. This guy who called me said, I was the one speaking. Yeah, okay. So we deal with it. And he's willing to appear before any commission of inquiry. He wants a commission of inquiry. He's actually looking for it because he says he has a lot more to say about the system that is being run in the current police service led by Dr. Dampare. So the point I'm making is that Dr. Dampare as IGP, he will not be able to help anybody to win. Now, those who don't like Dr. Dampare and MPP say that Dr. Dampare is NDC because he was Professor Mills's AD camp. And therefore he's NDC. That's total hogwash. I'll show you why it's hogwash. It's not correct information. It's correct information, but it's irrelevant, inconsequential. Because can a policeman really help you to win? If police people could help people to win, we wouldn't have this scenario that I'm about to point to. This is Suraj. Now, Suraj was the reason why Asin North became a problem. Because this is how it started. Suraj saw a polling agent of the MPP casting his vote and taking a photograph of the vote. He took a photograph of the vote. And then Suraj ordered that he be put in handcuffs. That why is he taking a photograph of the vote? As of now, the Electoral Commission's CI is yet to come out for the 2024 election. I'm not so sure whether taking a photograph of the vote is a criminal offense. I'm not sure about that. I'm not so sure whether we can tell people that don't take your mobile phone into the ballot. What you cannot do is to vote and to show it to people. You can stretch that by saying that he's going to show the photograph to people. But that I take a photograph, it doesn't mean I'm going to show to people. I can keep it myself. It doesn't mean that. So it was Suraj who was in charge of the operation on that occasion. And Suraj caused the arrest of this MPP guy who, it was alleged, that he was taking photographs of the vote that he has cast. But who is he going to show to confirm what? He's a polling agent, a constituency executive of the party already. If they don't trust him, they will make him constituency executive. He doesn't need to come and show that he voted for the MPP. I'm not sure about that. He probably took it just to enjoy himself, frolic of his own, etc., etc. Suraj was doing his police work. And then he exercised his discretion to arrest a guy. That's where the Asin North problem started. And then there was complaints. Yes, they are arresting our people. And they are putting the NDC people in the police car and they are moving them around. NDC man wants to go here, they move him around. In fact, at some point in Asin North, one of the police people was willing to transport me if I needed it. I said, no, I don't need it, which is okay. I had a journalist badge, so that transport is okay. I'm not so sure if an NDC person wants to move from here to here and they transport him, whether it's a problem. But it looked like it was a problem because they said that you are handcuffing this one and you are helping this one. Because the thing with Asin North is that I drove for about an hour and 15 minutes and I was still in Asin North. It's not a joke. We drove from the Ningo area to Breku, the MPP so-called stronghold, to Kushia, which is now split as the NDC stronghold. It took us 1 hour and 15. So if you're a journalist and you are reporting and you don't have a car, and the police are going from Ningo, and they ask you why you go, you say I'm going to Breko, and they say join us, I'm not sure there's a problem with that. If you are MPP and they say join us, I'm not sure there's a problem with that. If you are NDC and they say join us, I think there shouldn't be a problem with that. What it is that the concern was about handcuffing. So the whole brouhaha in Asin North centered around COP Suraj. Now, who is COP Suraj? Is he NDC or is he MPP? We've just been doing a survey since last Monday when the tape broke, last Tuesday when the tape broke. And I can tell you for free that we have asked people about the COP. So we put the COPs, we've written their names, and we are calling people and say, Charlie, this COP, is he NDC or MPP? Oh, it's NDC. Oh, it's MPP. Oh, it's NDC or it's MPP. Some of the police people that they tell us is NDC, another account says he's MPP. Some of those that they start by saying is MPP, another account says it's NDC. So really, this is not about, police is not about that. Suraj is, if Dr. Dampare is NDC because he was with Professor Mills, then Suraj, who caused the problem, is MPP. Why? Because who was the aide come to the MPP vice president, Alhaji Aliu Mahama. May God keep his soul. Alhaji Aliu Mahama was Suraj's boss was Alhaji Aliu Mahama. Is Suraj therefore MPP? Because his boss was Alhaji Aliu Mahama. If Suraj is MPP, has he changed to become NDC so that he was the trouble causer in Asin North? I'm trying to explain these things for us to understand that it's very dangerous for us to place these men in those political circles. They vote. Yes, they will vote. Electoral Commissioner votes. Referee Howard Webb, he was a referee, but he was a referee. He was a Manchester United fan, and he was a referee, and he refereed United games. And Ryan Giggs, our United hero, had exchange of words with him on the field. But he's a United fan. He's doing his work professionally. When Peter Adjete became Speaker of Parliament, I always say the story. The Ghana Bar Association went to him and said that now that you are Speaker of Parliament, we hope that you will be neutral. And Peter said, I cannot be neutral. How can I be neutral? I'm a member of the New Patriotic Party. In fact, I'm his chairman. How do you expect me to be neutral? Peter told them, the word you are looking for is impartial, not neutral. I can never be neutral. I am blue blood NPP, as Peter Adjete told them. It meant a lot to me as I watched Peter Adjete that day. He said, I am NPP. I cannot be neutral in these matters. But the call on me as Speaker of Parliament is to be impartial. Alban Bagbin is NDC. In fact, Alban Bagbin is an NDC MP. He's Speaker of Parliament. Yesterday, he gave a ruling against the NDC about a very sensitive one. This Asin North fight, and they won't come to Parliament, and they are going to compete. Alban Bagbin told them, you can't do that. You can't go to court and you will leave you will be derelict of your duty. If you do that, I'll mark you absent. And people don't understand, but marking a parliamentarian absent for a certain number of times can even occasion the loss of the seat. So it's a very serious matter. Alban Bagbin, Sumanu Kingsford, the Right Honourable Speaker, he is a die-in-the-wool NDC man. He gave the ruling because the call on him as Speaker is to be impartial. It's not to be neutral. How is he going to be neutral? He's an NDC man. Neutral for what? Johnson Asiedu Ketia goes to him and they talk. The way Asiedu Ketia goes to him and the things they talk about, Stephen Ntim cannot go and say the same things with him. But he's a Speaker of the Parliament and he's expected to be impartial. So it's important that civil society, media, journalists, all of us, don't put the pressure on these people and say, you are NDC, you are MPP. I'll come to the work that they need to be doing, but it is very important that we do that. So this is Suraj. Suraj was Ali Mohammed's Edicam. So is he MPP? Okay, so he has become NDC? I don't know. Let me go on with the story. This is COP Kofi Boakye. Okay, I called him ACP for so long that sometimes I forget. The other day he said he would knock my head if I still call him ACP. Because when in law school together, in those days, as soon as I arrived, I said, ACP. He says, Paulus. And then we'll talk about consulting and saying, it is my man. He said, just a sweet guy. They say he's NDC. In fact, they started, when he came with the striking force, where he got all of us excited about him, all of us who were small boys, were very excited about this new police officer. He comes with so many university degrees, very brilliant man, he's well built. All of us were going to the gym to look like Kofi Boakye. So he was a striking force commander. And Rawlings was particularly interested in the striking force. They said he was NDC. Then Kufuor became president. Then they said, COP is ACP Kofi Boakye. He's a Kufuor man. They've made him director of operations. He's a MPP. Okay. Then when John Mahama became president, they said he was NDC. Oh, I have a photograph with Kofi Boakye on voting day on election 2016. I was in Kumasi. I'm always in Kumasi on election day. And I was in Kumasi and I had a photograph with him at Mensha Palace. Because when I go to Kumasi on election day, as some of you know, I first cover Otufo's voting. So I'm always calling them, Mr. Santini will come out around 11. And I tell my people at 11 o'clock, we have to be at Mensha, Otufo is coming to vote. So I was there when Otufo was voting and Kofi Boakye was there. At that time, they said he's NDC because of his relationship with John Mahama. And Kofi Boakye is great like that. President Mahama likes people like that. So he was his friend. But they said he was NDC. Was it not under Kofi Boakye's watch that the MPP won the biggest victory in Ashanti, 75% in 2016? What will a policeman do to help you or to undermine you? He has to work with the law. So if he handcuffs you, you can go to the court and get the handcuff removed. And he has to play by the rules. So Kofi Boakye was the regional commander in 2016. They said he was NDC, but it was then that the MPP won the biggest victory in Ashanti region, one of the biggest in the Fourth Republican history, over an NDC, so-called NDC police officer. So we need to be careful about these things, viewers. This is Peter Namfuri. Peter Namfuri, many people who knew him thought that philosophically he was a socialist. Okay. A lot of the people who grew up in Namfuri's era, who had been trained by the Ideological Institute and all of that, were socialists. Okay. Peter Namfuri was great friends with J.J. Rawlings. He was, very much so. And great friends with many NDC people. And many people in the police force suspected that he was NDC. It was under Peter Namfuri's watch that the NDC lost one of their biggest defeats in the 2000 election. Namfuri was the IGP. Why didn't he help NDC to win? Maybe he wanted NDC to win. I can believe that. But what can he do? He can only cast one vote for the NDC and invites his wife to cast a vote for the NDC. And if he has children who are over 18, he asks them to cast a vote for the NDC. That's about it. He can't do beyond that. There are any operational arrangements, it is so detailed out from the beginning to the end. So when Namfuri was IGP, the NDC lost the election 2000. So that vibe, that, oh, if you change the IGP, you can break the 8. If there's an IGP, you can't break the... Look, if people cast the vote for you, you will break the 8. If they don't cast the vote for you, you will not break the 8. It's as simple as that. Okay. So, and then this is IGP Achampong. He used to be Tema Regional Commander, particularly intelligent man. It was said that, oh, Achampong, the MPP, I mean, radio, NDC communicators were shouting it, Elvis Ankra and others, and the IGP should be careful. We know that he's they said everything they would say. They said he was Kufuor's friend, so he was MPP. It was in Achampong's era, under his watch, in 2008, that the MPP suffered the slimmest defeat in the political history of Ghana. That so tiny willy defeat of 25,000 of 10 million people voting with a difference of 25,000, which the NDC used to win the 2008 election, was under the watch of the IGP who was said to be MPP. Why didn't he cancel the 25% or give the MPP the 25%? Can he do that? No, he can't. So when we say that somebody, an IGP is going to help somebody to win the election, I think it's total hogwash. And the NDC and other politicians are making a big deal out of this story that MPP want to rig the election with an IGP. Okay, fair enough. Story has come, so we need to deal with it. So this is the first part of this is Alex Mensah, who was mentioned in the tape, and this is Bugri Nabu that I talked about. So we have to understand that look, you can't say that IGP sitting there the election is going to be run, about 13 million people are going to vote. The police force in Ghana is about 50,000. How are they going to ensure? I mean, 50,000 is a significant vote. If they are all going to vote one way and they all vote for a certain candidate, that's significant. 50,000, it could be significant. A winning candidate is going to get 6 million and something. 50,000 can change something. In 2008, we saw 25,000 changing something. So that's quite significant, isn't it? But can a police officer help you to win? If he's IGP, can he help you to win? How does he do it? What will he do? Will he cast 10 ballots? Will he stop there? When they are counting the ballots, will he say that he's taking it away? When somebody takes the ballot box away, what will happen? I remember my own personal experience in the year 2000, and some of the NDC people in Dadekotopon have not liked that. There was a situation in the year 2000 in Labadi when I was covering the elections, where after covering the elections at the polling station at Pamoy Junction, those of you who know Labadi will understand it. At Pamoy Junction, the votes had to be transported to Laboni Secondary School, which is about 20 minutes or so drive. But there was no direct road to Laboni Secondary School. So you need to go around and get onto the main road to get back into Laboni, to get to Laboni Secondary School. So what they did in 1996 was that they carried the ballot boxes and walked through the bush path, and they went in. So I was on the ground covering the report, and I got a call from people who were around Jacob Bilamti, and they said, we have just heard you on Joy. Where are you? I said, I'm in Labadi, Dadekutupong. I'm covering the election. I'm at Pawanjang. I said, what's happening there? I said, well, the police station results have been declared, and so they are carrying it to Laboni Secondary School for the tabulation. But somehow the Electoral Commission's vehicle is not available, and the police don't have a vehicle, so the people are passing through the bush. And they expressed their concern. As a journalist, I called Joy FM and told them what I wanted to do. They said, there, talk to the police. I said, police, I have a car. It's a good car. It can take all of us. It can take the balabos. Shall we go in my car so we get there quick? The policeman said, yeah, why not? And DC people, So we drove straight to Laboni Secondary School and put it down. There was MPP were concerned that when they get into the bush, they open the thing and they look at it and take the MPP ones out and leave it in the bush. And that's what happened in 96. They said all that. I don't know whether it's true or not. But when we did that, the MPP won the constituency for the first time in the year 2000, and Sylvester Mensah was defeated. I don't know whether the moving those 6 or 7 ballot boxes was part of it. I'm not sure. In the polling stations where the counting was done, though, the NDC had won. But by the time we got to Laboni Secondary School, Akonai, who was the MPP candidate, actually became victorious. So what can the police do? What can they do? I mean, now the police have full logistics. This story I'm telling you is not going to happen now. The police will have a car in every police station. They're going to have all their resources. Electoral Commission will have everything they need. 2000 is 23 years ago, so you know that things were not as great as they are now. Okay, so Achampong presided over NPP defeat, the NPP IGP. Peter Namfuri presided over an NDC defeat, the NDC IGP. And this is Namfuri again. So all of that is not very important. What is important is that politicians must focus on their message. MPP didn't lose Asin North because Dr. Dampare did anything against them. Or even Suraj. Suraj did what? He handcuffed, I don't know whether it's true, it's correct, but MPP people think it was very wrong. I can sort of agree that in the public glare, you don't take a constituency executive and handcuff him. You enable other people and you disenable other people in terms of the psychology. Yeah, the psychology, you disenable and enable other people. So it's something that perhaps it's a matter of indiscretion, I guess. But that's only my guess. I'm not the courts. I can't make that determination. But this is the Suraj who did that, who everybody was saying, Suraj, he's an MPP man, he's an NDC man. Dampare brought him here to come and cheat. But what's the history of Suraj? He's Aliu Muhammad's man. Is Aliu Muhammad also NDC? I don't think so. But now let me get to the story. This is Dr. Dampare. Now, what we are hearing now is particularly disturbing. And it's not about politics. Nothing to do with politics. Okay. My lady, take it from here. Take the timing from here. What we are hearing now is particularly disturbing. It's not about politics. It's not. The conversation that I have had this evening suggests that there's a real problem with the police force. And if it is true, then Dr. Dampare would have to deal with it. Interior Minister will have to deal with it. There has to be a public inquiry. For a police officer to call me a journalist and say, I'm a police officer, I'm a superintendent, I can tell you everything you heard on the tape is correct. This is what is happening. I'll tell you more. I said, tell me more. He said, do you know that there is a habeas corpus application in the northern region asking the hierarchy of the police to answer? He says there's something in the police called PID, Police Intelligence Department. It's always been there. He says that I should ask any police officer, and since I spoke to him, I've spoken to a few people. He said I should ask any police officer that the PID is being used by Dr. Dampare, allegedly, to empower a certain elite police group, very elite police group. And they do anything and nobody can talk to them, and they talk only to IGP. And IGP has said that nobody should grant an interview. No police communication officer should grant an interview. Every region, nobody talks, only him. I've seen the GJA statement concerning that. They complained about it. This guy tells me that there is murder, and that's why I was worried, that there's murder going on. Policemen are being killed, and policemen from the PID are killing civilians indiscriminately. He sends me photographs of how those policemen in the PID look like. I have it with me. I'll just share it to the authorities if they want. They wear earrings and they look different a little bit. And they are in the police force, as it was alleged. And that they are committing murder. He says that in November, some young men in Tamale were on the wrong side of the law, or so it was thought. He said they have been killed by the PID on the instructions of the hierarchy. That the top has asked them to kill these young men. And they shot them dead in November. And currently, a habeas corpus application has been filed in Tamale, and tomorrow morning we'll write to the Attorney General asking for the habeas corpus application that is pending in a Tamale High Court about the killing of these men by the PID people, that they are killing people, that they are also killing police officers. And so because of that, this police officer says that in terms of reverse psychology, the public is resenting the police, and therefore they're also killing police because they can't handle this thing. They said that within the police hierarchy, all the COPs, 80-90% of them are not happy with the way Dr. Dampare is managing the police process. I don't know whether it's true or not, but these are matters that if they are true, they are very serious for the country and how police is managed. I mean, you can't have an IGP about whom many COPs disagree. And then the way in which things are applied. Somebody goes on leave, he's age 54 or 60. Another person is 60, he doesn't go. Somebody works with his terminal leave, another person. So the report is given that this police officer, a very distinguished man, he's the deputy commander of the Greater Accra region, that he's on the same tenure with other people. He has to be retiring. He's not retiring because he's friends with Dr. Dampare. Other people who get to his threshold are asked to proceed on their terminal leave. He's there, he's not going. Now, these things don't augur well for a force. Now, I'm concerned because I grew up in Burma camp. Everything around me is military. I wanted to be a military officer. So when I see these things, I'm very, very concerned. This doesn't happen in military circles. No, it doesn't. Because everybody knows that Lieutenant Colonel X is going in November 1st, 2021. When I was in Burma camp, I was a small boy. When General Quinn was recalled from retirement, there was confusion in Burma. My father and his son talked about it. They brought Quinn. It was a big problem. Until at some point, Flight Lieutenant Rawlings felt that I have to let Quinn go. When General Mensah Wood became the general officer commanding, everybody was happy. Not that he's NDC or his MPP. At that time, all the soldiers were NDC anyway. They were PNDC anyway. But nobody wanted General Quinn because they said that he's been retired. And why are you bringing him back? But General Nunu Mensah was welcomed by everybody. And so the military people, they have a certain sense. And the police people are like that. We shouldn't disturb that. They have a certain sense of fairness and a certain sense of loyalty to their country. And we should not disturb that. Any IGP who disturbs and jostles that process is creating problem. Not just for the police force, but for the country. So if it is true that the same brush should be used to paint every COP, 1st May you resign, 1st May everybody resigns. It's fair. But when the police are complaining about these things, it's a major problem. And now it is said that the police people say that they will not vote. So the investigations must be concerned with the IGP's governance. This person also gave me names of journalists. I won't say it because it's alleged. Who, as at yesterday, had been paid to amplify the tape. They'd been paid to amplify the tape. So it says that this recording was done by Bugri Nabu because Bugri Nabu is the IGP's friend and that he is actually alleged to be on the payroll of the IGP. We don't know whether that's true or not, but it has been alleged against Bugri Nabu that he was the one who is a voice on the tape. Those of you know Bugri Nabu's voice. I'll play the tape again so you can tell us whether it is or it's not when you send a text message. It's been alleged against him, against Bugri Nabu, that he was on the tape. It's been alleged against him that he's on the payroll of the IGP. They even gave me the figure of how much he paid. They said they're going to send me the document. So I've been very uncomfortable since 4 o'clock. I said, hey, what is this? I was concerned that, look, this IGP story, it's a matter ado about nothing. We should get our police people to do their work. It's not NDC MPP. No IGP can let anybody win. That's the story we had prepared. And then I got these calls, series of calls, and they said IGP paid Bugri Nabu. So Bugri Nabu is the one who was teasing them out. And then he did the recording, and the recording happened before Asin North. Why are they releasing it now? That's the question I was asked. I said, I don't know. I don't know when the recording was done. I don't understand it. He said the recording was done before Asin North. But because there's concern from Asin North that there has to be a change in Dr. Dampare, then they released this tape at this time. They released it at this time so that it will protect Dr. Dampare. Nobody wants to change Dr. Dampare. If you know Akufo-Addo well, when his MP said change Ken Ofori-Atta, did he change him? We are still here. Ken Ofori-Atta has won a major success by delivering the IMF. Nobody's going to change him. And that's why I agree with the interior minister. Akufo-Addo is not going to change anybody. But we need to talk about these things so that this Ghana is for all of us. It's not for NDC, it's not for MPP, it's for all of us. So if Bugri Nabu surreptitiously records a tape, allegedly, and then hands it over to IGP that I've done the work, you know, the people, this is what they said. That's very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. And then allegations about the PID. Now, I have felt a little bit, I didn't know they were called PID. So I'll tell you a story again. I think I'm staying long, but I have to tell you the story. At Joy FM, where I started working, it wasn't my first media job, but that's where I did quite a bit. They told us as journalists, and some of us will remember this, that if police arrest you as a journalist, go through the process. Don't say, I am journalist at Joy FM, so let me call my boss. No. They told us, don't even say you are Joy FM. Go through the process. That by going through the process, you will understand and you might get a story. So recently, Asin North Day, in fact, the day before Asin North, I was preparing for Asin North. So I was at the airport, rushing back to Ridge here and So I did some overtaking. The police came, stop, I stopped. But the way I've been dealing with police for 20 years. The way these two young police officers, female, approached me was particularly rude. I said, okay, no problem. Hey, stop your car. They thought I was going to say something. I said nothing. So they walked me to the police station. I said, no problem, let's go to the police station. What is this, a misdemeanor? What is this? It's court. It's nothing. At Joy FM, I had a problem like that. I must remember, Sewa something, the lady, said DSP. She became my friend later on. She arrested me. I went through the process till I stood in front of a judge. And the judge looked at me and said, what is your name? I said, Paul Adumo. What were you? I said, I did something in the traffic. The police had brought me here. Then she started writing, okay, misdemeanor, blah, blah, blah. Go. I said, come and see me in chambers. I went and said, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. We had a chat. I paid my fine. I went away. That's the training we've been given. So I never will say anything. So I went through the airport police station of all places. I went there and they know me because of the airport relationship. And they said, oh, Chief, what are you doing? I said, no, it doesn't matter. But I noticed that the senior police officers could not comment on it because they asked me, where were you arrested? I said, hey, it's down Paris people. I saw it. And when they noticed I was listening, then they stopped talking. I said, what's this going on here? I started texting to people. Then they asked me, who are you texting? I said, oh, no problem. They said, you're going to leave your car. I said, you can take the car. Fine. They kept the car for 48 hours. I walked out and took a taxi and I went to us. So when I was in Asin North broadcasting, they had seized my car. No problem. My lawyer went to the courts. They paid. Fine. But I noticed that there is some small friction between the police who arrested me and the police who were at the police station. So today when I heard the PID story, I said, I know it. But I was concerned that, but the police commander at the airport, he seems like he doesn't want to talk about it. He says, hey, this is damn Paris people. No. I mean, I will still go through the process. I'm not above the law. No one is above that. I'm happy to go through the process. I don't have any problem with it. It will just waste a bit of my time, but it helps me to learn. Now I have a story, don't I? So I thank Joy FM for giving us that training. That go through it, you will get a story. Now I have a story. Now the story is making more sense to me. Because I saw it. The two ladies, I still know how they look like. They were brutally rude. I think they were confrontational because they thought I was going to say something. I will say nothing. I went through the process quietly. I paid the fine. They seized the car for 48 hours. I went back. I showed them my Ghana card. They say, where's your fine receipt? This is my fine receipt. Take your car away. I saw Dr. Dampare at Asin North. I didn't even tell him. I could have told him that, oh, doc, you know what happened? I didn't tell him. It's not important. But when I heard the story about the PID and the way they are operating, I thought that this is something we need to look at. Because in the history of Ghana, we have seen Osagyefo's own guard, an elite created in the military that brought the country down. Under J.J. Rawlings, I saw it in Burma Camp, 64 Infantry Battalion, another elite that really brought the country down, almost collapsed the military. I saw it. So when I hear that an IGP is creating an elite group in the police, I know that it is very, very wrong. It is particularly wrong. And the Ministry of Interior, the National Security, the Office of the President should not countenance that. The police are the police. Every police officer is a police officer. COP, COP. DCOP is DCOP. SUPO, SUPO. Let's not create any elite anything. There's Police Intelligence Department. They should do their work. Let's not create an elite. Osagyefo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah created, let's learn from history. Osagyefo created what they call Osagyefo's own guard. It was led by General Bawa. General Bawa was unfortunately slaughtered by the coup makers. And when you read Nkrumah's dark days in Ghana, Nkrumah said that he thought that he was sure the coup will not succeed until word reached him that General Bawa had been killed. And he dedicated the book, The Dark Days in Ghana, to General Bawa Lieutenants Arthur and Moses Yeboah. And Nkrumah wrote, and all Ghanaians who died or were maimed resisting the traitors of 24th February. So I know the story. As a political historian, I know the story. We should never ever create an elite in the police or the military. Never do that again. And credit to Dr. Kwame Adokufo, the defense minister of 2001, who came and said, what is 64 Infantry Battalion? Take them to the barracks. They are part of the military. They are not an elite group. What is rapid response? If you want rapid, because they were explaining that, oh, they are rapid response. No, they are Rawlins's army. That's what was happening. My friend, Ernest Parish, he died. As a 64 Infantry Battalion member, he had to kill himself because they were doing some one-time shooting and something happened. Those of you remember the story from the place near Teshi, next door. It was a very painful situation. And Parish was a brilliant officer from St. Augustine's. But he got himself into 64 because Rawlins liked him. And what they do is that they pick the great boys and put them together and form an army. Almost like a private army being paid by state resources for the boss. We should not allow that to fester. When President Kufuor came, he disbanded and the army was one army. The police must be one police. We shouldn't have a PID that feels better than another policeman. That is so dangerous. And this is what we are hearing that is happening in the police, and that is why I'm interested in an inquiry. I'm not interested in the inquiry to see which policeman is MPP, who is NDC, who is MPP, who is NDC. They are all NDC, they are all MPP. I mean, recently I went to an event. I'm sorry I'm digressing, but recently I went to an event. I was an MC for an event. Round the table, the big table, Sam Jonah was there. Ibrahim Mahama was there. Osafo Mafo was there on the round table, big table. Kwame Pianim was there. Is that not a beautiful political misc? I saw Ibrahim there because these days he's been harassing me about the stories I do on NDC. I was dodging him. So I was dodging him, and then I went to take my food. Then he came and he hit me. He said, I said, oh, Baba. He said, don't do me, Baba. Oh, you that story you did. I said, talking, and people went away from us. So Rashid came and said, but you people, won't you eat? Why are you fighting? And so we're not fighting, it's politics. In the middle of the fight, and some people understand, I won't say everything, but some people understand. In the middle of the fight we were fighting, Ibrahim hit me and said, you see that thing? Then I looked. I said, hey, Baba, that'd be nice. Oh. He said, it'd be nice, your wife will kill you. Then we continued the fight again. That's how it is. Ghana is for all of us. All of us are not going to be MPP. All of us are not going to be NDC. Policeman can be MPP, can be NDC. A judge can be NDC, can be MPP. That's not important. As Peter Ajite said, the call on the police officer and the public person, including journalists, is impartiality. The call on me is not to be MPP or not to be NDC. No, that's not the call. I can be MPP, I can be NDC. The call on me when I stand here is to be impartial. That's the responsibility on me. It's not about whether you are NPP or NDC. That means nothing. So when we are making a lot about this tape that NDC, NPP, it's hogwash. What is important is what we are hearing. Are they creating a PID, elite police force, who have ammunition and are killing people? And because of that, civilians are killing police? Does Dr. Dampare have a police force that is responding to him as a subcommittee, central committee of the Ghana Police Service? They are called the PID, and they respond. PID has been there anyway. It's been in existence for a long time. What we are hearing is that Dr. Dampare has changed it. It's alleged. We don't know whether it's true. And I'm calling on the Interior Minister to have a look at these things. Nobody should change Dr. Dampare. Nobody wants to change Dr. Dampare. He's a great guy. But if maybe Dr. Dampare has done that because he's also concerned about people undermining him. That happens all the time. Being an IGP is an envious position, a very enviable. People are going to try and undermine you. Even sitting here as the news reporter, people will undermine you. How much more IGP? Deputy ministers have people undermining them. Ministers have people undermining them. So if people try to undermine you, sometimes, if you are not careful, you might create that elite force to protect your interests. It's not so much that he wants to destroy the police. He wants to protect his interests so that he can have his job done. But he doesn't need that. The political system, the judicial system, the system that sits in Ghana, the constitutional system, protects him enough. But if you create an elite and they become rude to other police officers, then we are running a very, very dangerous situation. Very, very dangerous situation. And I'll urge Dr. Dampare, if that is true, it should stop. The other thing I'll say about Dr. Dampare is that the IGP is a presidential appointment. Your loyalty is to the state of Ghana and to the head of state. I didn't mean head of government. We are operating a bicephalous executive, those who understand it. Your loyalty is to the head of state and the state of Ghana. It is not a PR contest. It is not. IGP is not a PR contest. That's the only thing I'll say. IGPs are not supposed to be doing regular and massive PR. So when we were growing up in Ghana, those of you are my age, the IGP was called, you remember the name, S.S. Omane. Did you ever see him? I still don't know how he looks like. I don't know how he looks like. S.S. Omane, that's all you hear on radio news. Present at the meeting was Flight Lieutenant Rollins, Justice D.F. Annan, and the IGP, Mr. S.S. Omane. That's all. That's all. You don't see him. He doesn't do anything. Even Peter Namfuri, until I became a journalist, I saw him. You don't see him. So the role of the Inspector General of Police is not a PR one. When you go to England, they call him the Chief Constable. Nobody knows him. It is on the coronation of the king that the commentator will say that's the Chief Constable standing behind Prince Margaret. That's the only time. Now, you don't even see him well because he's standing behind. You don't check it out. The Chief Constable of England. Google his name right now. Please Google his name. Chief Constable. Do you know him? The Inspector General of Police job is not a PR matter. It has nothing to do with PR. It has to do with an effective delivery of policing. And it's not political. It is an administrative job. You can be NDC, you can be MPP. When armed robbers are going to attack people and they come to your house, do they ask you, show me your NDC card before they attack you? They just attack you. So the police need to be equipped to be able to deal with that. That's all. All the police people are noble people. Dr. Dampare is a noble man. But he doesn't have to create an elite force within the PID. It is so dangerous. And that's where I think the inquiry should go. The inquiry can call people and ask them about that. But we are going to begin the inquiry with that habeas corpus, because as for that, killing 5 young men without any provocation, without warrants, and it's in a court, and a habeas corpus application has been filed, and the police are not responding, that one we will deal with it. We can't have that happen to any Ghanaian. This Ghana is for all of us. Why are we doing that to ourselves? Why are we killing 5 young men and habeas corpus come and produce the body? And I'm not coming. I'll come tomorrow. Really? I don't know whether the Attorney General is aware of that. If the Attorney General is not aware of that, tomorrow we are writing to him. That other book of Edami, they say there's a habeas corpus application at the Tamale High Court. They say that the application is waiting for the IGP's response on how the young men were killed. And they were killed in November 2022. We are in July. A human being's life? If that is true, if, it's a big if that is true, we'll find out tomorrow. But we can't have these kinds of things going on. Police shooting another policeman. Police people take a gun and they shoot another policeman. Recently, we heard some policeman went to take another policeman some farm. All of that apparently is in. And the names of the journalists that was supplied to me that just yesterday, they went to the COP in charge of finance and they were giving money. The names have been given to me. I will kindly send the names to the president of the GJA. That, Baba, this is what I got. This is not something I'm going to say here. No, I can't. It's such a big allegation. You can't use it publicly like that because you don't know whether it's true or not. But I'll hand it over to the GJA people. They said these people went to collect money to amplify the tape. I don't believe it. I sincerely don't believe it. I hope I will be proved right that it's not true. But this is what I've been, and I'm not the only one who's been told. Other people have been told too that your media people, they work for Dampare, they went there, they collected, they gave me the amount of money. They said Dr. Bugri Nabu, did I say doctor? Bugri Nabu here is working on the payroll of the IGP, and that it was Bugri Nabu who did the recording. I don't know whether it's true. Could that be true? Whoa, it's very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Okay, so I'm guessing that we will leave the matter here. It's so complicated. I'm not sure how to deal with it. Mustafa, the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, is in the studio, and then Danajiman is also in the studio to talk about the We Bill. We'll deal with that soon, but I'm not, since 4 o'clock, I've not been happy at all. I mean, if you were born in Burma camp, and you hear this kind of Osajefo's Own Guard, 64 Infantry Battalion, the ghost of these things, re-emerging, not in the military, but in the police, it's a problem. It's a major problem. I sincerely hope that is not true. But the habeas corpus will check it. This is what I have to share with you, viewers. You can send your text messages. It's not a very happy time. It's not this tape. It's not just a tape. It's not a happy time at all. Play the tape again as we end. Please play the tape again as we end this segment. And let people hear it. Those who just joined us, they haven't heard it. Let them hear it.
This man is not a lawyer. He has no fair idea of the law. He has never been on the field. It was NDC that was promoting him day in, day out. When Master was assistant superintendent of police, he was a sergeant.
You are what?
Sergeant. Sergeant.
I told her that you
Sergeant. Then NDC brought you this far. Now, what he's bragging about is the fact that he will be IGP to 2030. Because the Mama has promised him if he should win, may God forbid anything. If he should win, he will maintain him as IGP.
Who was there to hear this?
Oh, it is true. Wait, a meeting was held, of which he was a party to that meeting. And where he was even
NDC meeting
headed by your mama.
And
this thing is not coming from you. You can Google it. You see.
And
you can go to Ghana Web. Yes, the number of web.
You go what?
Ghana, go to Ghana Web. Let your voice do it for you. You see it. Paul Latum Ochery. It is one of his recent episodes. This was the topic. This was the subject matter. This was what was discussed.
And that our MPP.
So he mentioned his name. Publicly, Paul Latum Ochery. What about his
possible vice presidential candidates? Includes football chief, includes Dampare.
What would be his wife?
Yes, if he should win. But what this thing Dampare is doing?
But are you saying that President Nanado doesn't hear this?
Who will tell you?
That's not a good story at all, is it? We'll take a break. After that, Deputy General Secretary of NDC, Mustafa, is in the studio. He's a good friend of mine. Maybe he's the only NDC guy who talks to me, apart from Ibrahim Mahama. Anyway, from victory unto victory, the NDC shall lead, isn't it? Mustafa is here to complain that the Electoral Commission is wrong, that they will not allow any other identification except the Ghana card. After that, I have a much nicer interview. Nana Jiman is here as well, and he'll be talking to us. After the break, we'll do some politics with the NDC's concerns about the voter ID card. I'll be right back.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation, to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
Yamawakwaba, the button Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories. Ahadie, a bano KSC near Wakadia. Ubenya Biwaha. Kabian in the house, any new here. Yansu ya winning the four, or best son we ye amount. Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories ye jume did ye. 24/7 ye CCU engine, brake, battery, yes it's our tie. Say bano car wash dia. Ye wo abe fun fidelity say steamer ye the whole car engine abra nsuon core engine nim. Ye san ye detailing metre say ye betwitwu car no mu ba bia ma. Ye wi a ye san polish car na ma kama. Enye we no monko ye san to car batteries, ties, rims, any the keke count. Manadum Auto Fix and Accessories Emma Oka and Sini Dadem, then where you mamma. Shisha Yechida Coin what down Suman, I saw it down who are any KFC boy Henimu, a one crying. So open information and answer and Bisabia, Fresh 024-651-9369. Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories. Okwan so yonko papa.
Stand to win your share of up to 10 million Ghana cedis in prizes with Betway's Scratch and Win. You can earn your first scratch card by playing table games, slots, or quick games. Scratch and reveal a range of exciting prizes from smartphones to fuel vouchers and more. Visit www.betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Bet responsibly. Betway. Bet your way.
A state-of-the-art facility built with your family needs in mind. A medical center positioned for all your fertility problems and other diseases. Medimosis Clinic and Prostate Center. Our goal is to help our patients achieve and maintain optimal health. We have fully functional OPD laboratories in all our branches. Do you have problems urinating? Medimosis is the ultimate solution. Our Prostacure X capsules and Prostacure Herbal Tea treat prostate problems. Afromosis capsules gives you maximum performance, and for the ladies, Femacure X capsules solves all your menstrual problems. Locate Medimosis Clinic and Prostate Center at Adenta Barrier near the traffic light. Ashaman Ajekojo, Kumasi Ahirima Kokobing, and in Accra, Ministries after the Ghana Highways Yard. Call 0244 068 447. We accept National Health Insurance Card and all other private insurance card. Medimosis Clinic and Herbal Center, your ultimate solution for prostate problems.
Do you need a place with a stunning view and serene environment just beneath the Green Mountains with a commercial center and recreational area with an amazing park? Then look no further.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Welcome to Rehoboth Havens, the most affordable yet luxurious gated community located in Damfa, Accra. We have 2 and 3 bedroom houses with spacious park. Let me show you. All of our rooms come with beautiful porcelain tiles, durable fitted kitchen cabinets,
constant water supply,
electricity and water 24/7.
I'm buying this house. Stop processing my papers. Move it, move it. If you're living in Ghana and want an affordable and luxurious house to buy, look no further than Rehoboth Social Housing Limited. Oh, and to those from the diaspora, aren't you tired of living in places that doesn't belong to you? You can also own your house and be your own landlord from Rehoboth Social Housing Limited. I have my own Bossu landlord.
Contact us now. Rehoboth Social Housing. Your housing dream becomes reality.
Viewers, hey, the messages I'm getting. Hey, somebody says, drive carefully. Okay, let me take you through some of them. Hi, Jocelyn, good evening. I'll drive carefully. Thank you very much, Dr. Jocelyn. This guy there is funny. He knows I'm going to read his message. He says, Paul, can you sheepishly tell me what your useless government has done for Ghana? I don't see you as a journalist. You are a pat dog eating leftover bones from your political appointees. Foolish boy. Then I said, okay, thanks. He says, welcome, Paul. He's still typing. Oh, this is our work. But it's serious. So somebody says, Paul, everything you are saying is true. I am a police officer. My name is, my unit is, and everything you are saying is true. This man is killing the police service. That is one message. Another person comes and says, God bless you, Paul. You will live forever. This is so good. We were waiting for somebody to talk about this. I'm a police officer. My name is, my police number is, it is true. Invite me to any inquiry. I cannot come to the studio because I'm a police officer. But if the Interior Ministry does an inquiry, I will be there. This man is killing the police service. Hey, Charlie. Another one says, hello, Paul. I like the way you handled the issue. The way you injected with if and if is correct. Your recollection of Nkrumah's own guard and 64 Infantry Battalion brings me goose pimples. My father was killed by 64 Infantry Battalion. Wow. Wow. Another one says, my uncle who looked after me at St. Peter's was killed by 64 Infantry Battalion. And every soldier who we knew was angry about the activities of the 64 Infantry Battalion. We all voted for President Kufuor in 2000 so that he would change this. And God bless President Kufuor. And I'm happy you mentioned Dr. Kwame Ado-Kufuor. They actually changed this. And today, there is sanity in our military. This thing cannot be. That PID must be investigated. Please tell the president. Well, it's okay. Let me take the text from our people. Okay, let's see what you got.
Coming from Royal Philippian, he says, I can also personally confirm the Dampare boys thing, because I got a case at Spinter's Mandat police station, and the police there refused to talk about the case because they say they didn't want to have issues with the Dampare boys. It's something they should be mindful of. And this is coming from Junior Akbar from Tamale. I believe that both NPP and NDC know that IGP cannot help any party to win an election in this country. The same thing that Electoral Commission cannot help any party to win election in this country. So all these cook stories cannot help NDC to avoid defeat coming 2024, because Dr. Bawumia is going to beat our former president, John Dramani Mahama. This is coming from Nanaya Johnson. She says, Bugri Nabu could have never been the recorder, because whoever recorded that call was in the room. Bugri Nabu was on phone. Listen to the audio carefully. And lastly, from Alhaji Bob Sidi, he says, good evening, Paul. Dampare is going nowhere. He's a good guy, but I'm sure the authenticity of this so-called leaked tape. People will sit somewhere, eat fufu and tuzafi, then set a pace for the entire nation to follow. Waste our time for a week or two before throwing it away. What do you have for us?
Okay, I have one from Bennett Danso, and he says, good evening, Paul Adomotre. I suggest we do not give any more attention to this so-called fake leak tape. It must be treated with all contempt it deserves. There are more weightier issues to be dealt with. Okay. And this one is from Wisdom, and he says, good evening, Paul. Great job from you and your crew. Thank you. I think this issue requires a public hearing from both parties. No matter who becomes the IGP, all we need is a peaceful Ghana. And this is from Enes Boati, and he says, I love it when the analysis is not based on political lines. Good evening, Paul. And then my last message is from Master Planner Junior Kintampo, and he says, IGP and the police department has nothing to do with the MPP breaking the 8. Ghanaians will vote for MPP because of our policies and good works. Dr. Bawumia Beba, 2025.
Okay, so Nana Harrison Owusu has a question. He says, Paul, is it possible for the police administration to have a press release to clarify some of these issues that you are talking about? Mohammed Tahiru says, good evening, Paul. Please, if what you're saying is really true about the killing of some people in the northern region, then I'll be very disappointed in the IGP. And with the leak tape, there must be serious investigation to find out those COPs and deal with them. Kennedy Fosu Brown says, Paul, you are very right. The same thing happened to me at the airport police station. I called a very senior police officer even at the station, but the police couldn't talk because they said they are IGP's guys. I couldn't believe Chairman Freddie Blay was arrested by this IGP. Forgetting there are protocols in everything. Even in Europe, there are protocols. The IGP must learn to respect his colleagues. He's been lucky to be ahead of his colleagues, and he is not our dear Lord. Henry Kofi Ayosi says, I think the Dampare issue is a case of Ghanaians liking him and the police hierarchy not liking him because of his style of leadership. Because anytime I speak with some police people and I say I like Dampare, they say they are not that convinced. Lastly, Nixon Asen says, I have always said that leak tape is a hogwash and that no serious-minded person will place premium on it. The NDC are going to town on with just days after their Thanksgiving service in Asin North, where they tagged the EC a rigging machine of the NPP. So this isn't news. They just want to play on the emotions of Ghanaians. Over to you, Angelo.
Thank you, Annette. So Kwesi Barcelona says, good evening, Apostle Paul. My heart is bleeding for Mother Ghana. I personally think the way Dr. Dampare appears in the public is quite problematic. Every minute he's taking pictures, and I think it's just a way of creating a niche for himself and also nursing his political ambition. I support the enquiry. This is according to Kwesi. Jude from Adenta says, Paul, this police issue, I was arrested together with a friend at the Presec Legon traffic and marched to the Legon police station. And the police said, in quotes, hey, they are Dampare's people. We can't do anything about it, unquote, after trying to plead with them. So it's really true. Moving on. Ibrahim says the NDC is as a party is playing with the emotions of Ghanaians for their interests with the IGP issue. Moving on. Citizen Francis says it's imperative to approach the leaked audio with a discerning mindset. And Aaron Babako says the police institution was established or introduced just to make sure the peace prevails within our traditional communities. The police institution is supposed to be seen as a rental community and not the otherwise. And lastly, Kenyan from Kumasi says that I have, good evening, Mr. St. Paul. I have a strong feeling that President Nanado, the President Nanado I know will never ever change the IGP. I have that feeling. Well, that's from him. Back to you, Paul.
Okay, so now we have to move on to the political story. Mustafa is here. Thank you very much for granting us that interview in Asin North, Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. Now, President Mahama has spoken about this, that the NDC is not happy with the Electoral Commission's process on ID card. Tell us, what is the problem?
Thank you very much, Paul. I think that the crux of our discussions will center on the fact that we have passed a law, Parliament, that seeks to regulate the use of Ghana card, and that if you don't even have a Ghana card, you cannot apply for pension benefits. Mm-hmm. You cannot acquire driver's licenses. You cannot acquire a passport. And then you cannot even register a company in Ghana. And so we consider the National Identification Authority to be in a form of a government service to the people. As we speak today, if you travel to the various districts, the offices of the National Identification Authority is not functioning. Mm. Yes. You cannot register for a Ghana card. As we speak today, the National Identification Authority, surprisingly, has opened registration in regional capitals where you would have to pay about 280 Ghana cedis, and they call that Express Premium Service. And so if my mother in the village wants to register for a Ghana card, she would have to travel to the regional capital at her own expense. We feel that that deviates the spirit and letter of Article 35(3) of the Constitution, where government would have to make public service available to all Ghanaians. We feel that the NIA is undertaking a discriminatory service. What happens to the poor people who cannot afford that money, but yet would have to register for a SIM card? That an old lady who cannot afford the 280 Ghana cedis, but yet would have to go for an insurance scheme. And so that is one aspect of the issue. Paul, if you look at the LI of the national identification itself, LI 111, there are portions of that regulation that says that even foreigners can have a Ghana card. Mm-hmm. And that if you look at Regulation 21, that even Ghanaians living abroad would have to have a Ghana card. But we're having a conversation where we are trying to reactivate ROPA, where yes, Ghanaians living abroad would have to register. As we speak, those Ghanaians haven't been registered onto the Ghana card system. So at the back of this, the EC is having a conversation, an uncompromising conversation, to say that we will not allow for any other form of evidence to qualify you to register for a voters register, except the Ghana card. In the midst of these challenges, how do you then, undertake such an exercise so that Ghanaians who are not able to acquire a Ghana card prior to the general election, would they be described as non-Ghanaians?
But those of us who are already on the register,
yes.
Do we need Ghana card again? It's for the new registers. That's what the
well, so the question should be that Ghanaians who have acquired a voters register through the guarantor system, or Ghanaians who have acquired a Ghana card through the guarantor system, do they cease to be Ghanaians?
No, those on the register are already on. They are not
Correct.
taking us off.
The
people they are adding,
correct,
and they are asking for Ghana card only. Your concern is that Ghana card is not available everywhere.
Yes.
So you can't use it. So if somebody shows up and says, I don't have Ghana card,
correct,
what will they do? They'll turn him away?
That is what the EC is saying.
They'll turn him away.
And so our argument in the NDC is that the guarantor system that was used in the acquisition of the Ghana card, because the Ghana card, the national identification itself, in acquiring the national identification system, there's a guarantor system where without a birth certificate, without a voters register, without a passport, someone would have to guarantee for the other to be able to get a Ghana card. So let's repeat that system in the new CI. So that Ghanaians who do not have a Ghana card can have another window of being able to register to vote. The EC says no. And so we believe that this is a pot of criminality being cooked by the National Identification Authority, pretending to be innocent, pretending they don't agree with EC, and EC is waiting to actually kick the ball. And the ball is to suppress data. If the National Identification Authority can tell that so and so number of Ghanaians have been able to acquire Ghana cards, and that those people are likely to register to vote, then the National Identification Authority can actually tell the number of Ghanaians who will show up to vote. And we are saying that even if you go to the website of the NIA, the regional data that is in terms of the number of people from each region that have been able to acquire Ghana cards, they've suppressed it. It's not there.
Oh, it's not there?
Yes.
But they've told us 17 million people are.
No. You check. It's not there. The regional distribution is not there. So we are saying that
they have to publish.
We are saying that going into 2024 election, institutions should do their work. And so this is not a difficult battle. The battle is that let us do what is right. It is not the fault of Ghanaians that they are not able to all acquire Ghana cards.
So if for some reason there's a quick rollout over a month, 30 million people get it, would you be okay with that?
Voila! We are saying that even the reason that the district offices are not functioning, if you go to the district offices today, if you call Kenatifwa, he will tell you that the district offices are not working. For whatever reason.
That they are closed.
They are not working. If you go there to acquire a Ghana card, you will not get. And so the only option is to roll out what they call the premium expense.
Oh, the VIP, that's expensive.
That's expensive. And so clearly, the National Identification Authority is offering a discriminatory service.
Well, it is.
Where
Price discrimination.
where Ghanaians who cannot afford the amount of money cannot simply get a Ghana card. What that means in the language of the Electoral Commission is that you cannot vote.
Okay, I get the point, quite well made. But let me ask you this, it may be a peripheral question.
Yeah.
Why is the NDC the only political party concerned? I've heard Odike saying that he supports it. MPP have not complained about it. How come it's only the NDC complaining about this one? If there's disenfranchised, does it disenfranchise NDC people only? Is it happening in your strongholds?
Why would we even want to disenfranchise people who are qualified to vote?
Yeah, I get that, but the concern seems to be coming from the NDC
we are major stakeholders in 2024, and we believe that by doing so, there's a ploy from the National Identification Authority, and the EC will rubber stamp that ploy. And so, let all Ghanaians who qualify by way of what the Constitution says get access to vote. Once you are 18 years in Ghana, you are qualified to vote.
Fatih, get a question for him, from yourself. You listen to him. I want to open the discussion for young people to assess it, because the ID card is about. Do you have a Ghana card? Yeah. You do? But you take the microphone, it's important. You have a Ghana card? Yeah. All of you around the table have a Ghana card? Yeah. Mikhail, do you have a Ghana card? Everybody in the studio here has a Ghana card? Yes. Hey, Mustafa, looks like the Ghana card.
They are in Accra. Go to the villages.
If you are in the villages listening to us, please send us a text on Good Evening
Ghana
Official, and let's check it out and see what's happening, whether you have a Ghana card. Do you have a Ghana card, Mustafa?
I do have a Ghana card.
Does President Mahama have a Ghana card?
I believe so. He would have a Ghana card.
That's
because
Vice President
she lives in Accra. She doesn't live in my village.
You ignored my suggestion. Vice presidential candidate Jena Nopokwa, does he have a card?
Well, the issue of vice presidential candidate is to the purview of the
prerogative of the president. I've heard that for 20 years.
Well, I mean, we are willing in the NDC to support the flag bearer, select someone that can help him work. And that's the end of the conversation.
So once he selects you, you give the support?
We are very good to go. But so they have their Ghana card. So the conversation
is in the villages
of trying to compare someone living in Accra to the poor woman living in my village. It's not the same.
Okay, so I get the point.
Don't
you are
forget
thinking
that
the village people, those who live in the village are being disenfranchised.
Yes.
And you suspect that a lot of your support base is there.
In fact,
that's reasonable.
No, we are not saying so.
Okay.
We are saying that as at the time the NIA undertook a mass registration exercise, there was lockdown, we're in COVID.
Oh, I remember that.
If you remember.
Yeah.
And so not all Ghanaians could have been able to register. You saw an empirical evidence when the Ministry of Communication sought to do re-registration of the SIM card. The difficulty that it put. Are we going to face the same difficulty going to register to vote? And so we are simply saying that it is not about NDC people living in the villages.
It
is about Ghanaians who cannot get access to simply register for Ghana card.
That there are people in the United Kingdom.
So that's why I'm saying that Regulation 21 of NIA's own laws.
Why shouldn't we be putting pressure on the government to find money for the NIA to roll this thing out?
Why is the NIA not putting pressure on government?
They are.
Yeah, so if
all of us put pressure on Ken
so what we are saying is that,
and tell Mr. Ken Oforiatta that, look, this is going to disenfranchise people. Security comes before economics in any political situation. Security is first. We will be compromising the security of the election if all Ghanaians. I am sure Ken Oforiatta will.
If there is anything to talk about security of this country, we believe that governments have offered an environment of insecurity in itself. And we don't want to talk about it today. That's for another day. Whether or not government sees the need to release funds for this to be done, it can be achieved progressively. And the difficulties we find ourselves in as a country is well understood. But we should not make Ghana card the only document or the sole document that a Ghanaian should have in order to acquire
what other cards are you suggesting, so we conclude? What other documents, like national health insurance?
No. We have a guarantor system.
Oh, the guarantor, that's what you want. Paul, so me with the Ghana card. So must the guarantor have a Ghana card though?
No, you don't need to. If you don't have...
the guarantor too shouldn't have...
If you don't have a Ghana card, and you are a Ghanaian who have attained the age of 18, you should be able to go through a guarantee system.
The guarantee system.
Which already exists. To be able to register in order to vote. The fact that you don't have a Ghana card should not disenfranchise you.
No, but it's a guarantor I'm talking about. Yes. The guarantor. He too should have Ghana card? He shouldn't have Ghana card?
The guarantor system.
Yes,
the guarantor system in the NIA. The person guaranteeing for you should have acquired a Ghana card in order to qualify
you. My mother guaranteed for me.
Exactly.
Because she had a Ghana card before.
And so we can repeat the same system where, because government doesn't have funds, because NIA have not been able to register all Ghanaians, because there are a certain number of Ghanaians that do not have the Ghana card for whatever reasons, genuinely we may accept, there should be a window for Ghanaians who do not have Ghana card to be able to register and acquire a voter's card. Because if you look at Article 42, it doesn't state that you must have a Ghana card in order to vote. It says when you are 18 years, you qualify to vote. And that the Electoral Commission is mandated to make arrangements for you who have attained the age of 18, a citizen of Ghana. You should be able to cast your vote. You should be able to acquire
so the guarantor, what must he have? What are you proposing that he has?
The guarantor should be a Ghanaian.
But how would you go check that?
We have birth certificates. If the birth certificates will not work, then a Ghanaian who already has a voters register can guarantee for another Ghanaian.
So like me on the voters register already?
Yes.
I can guarantee for another Ghanaian?
Of course, you should be able to do that.
Okay, all right. Let's take the questions. Let's take the questions and we wrap it up. Yes, Patty, what's your question, please?
All right. So I remember at first you were discouraging your members from getting the Ghana card. But why is it now necessary? It's like you guys are very serious about it. It's not an NPP question.
But anyway,
no, it's not.
We're discouraging your
it's not an NPP question.
Yeah, but it's a question of the youth. This is how the youth are thinking. So
that's a very good question, and the national chairman have been explaining this. The NDC never discouraged Ghanaians from, registering for a Ghana card. It was the circumstances under which the whole exercise was organized. We disagreed with that.
So he called for a boycott of sorts?
I mean, whatever it is.
Then she's right. She said you will.
No, he didn't call, whatever it is, I'm just saying that the national chairman who NPP is claiming have said that he called on Ghanaians not to acquire a Ghana card. Said he didn't say that. And the NPP have since not been able to bring any evidence that suggested that he said so. And so I know that the circumstances under which the whole exercise was rolled out, given the times that we found ourselves, COVID and all of that, would have been one of the bases upon which some of these comments will come. But of course, we have come to accept that Ghana card is a good document for all of us, that we have a common document that we can synchronize our verifications on, which is very good. But then progressively, whilst we invest resources in all Ghanaians acquiring this card, it should not affect the right of a Ghanaian to vote. And that is a complete illegality.
Okay, next question, Oscar. Do you have a question for him? Light one, yeah.
I just wanted to ask, are you going to have a turnaround? Are you going to change your mind should in case the government issues out the free Ghana card registration again? Because I know prior to elections, they would open out, the opportunity for people to register. So should in case that happen, are you going to, change your mind and say, okay, sure, everybody should, apply for the Ghana card, or you will still hold on to the guarantee thing and all that you're saying?
I have this question. Somebody says, good evening, Paul. As an abiding citizen, I obtained my Ghana card in 2019 when the registration started. I find it preposterous that in 2023, people are still claiming they cannot obtain a Ghana card. I understand if people were under 18 in 2019. Then that's understandable. Otherwise, they have had ample time to obtain the card. Okay, I think she's quite angry. But the offices are not opening, my lady. So I don't know. That there's no name here. Oh, there's his name here. A.M. Battles, it says. Okay. Yes. So take
first of all, very importantly, our position will change to the extent that we undertake reforms that do not seek to disenfranchise a Ghanaian. Our position will change. That we understand that the Ghana card system must be a progressive exercise. That will not end today, that will not end tomorrow. You should be able to walk freely into a Ghana card office, a national identification office, and acquire a Ghana card. When we get there, I think we are good. Number two, to the extent that the EC want to state that without a Ghana card, you would not vote, conflicts with your right to vote. And so, completely, it's not a conversation of policy, it's not a conversation of politics, it's a conversation of law. Your right versus a policy that will seek to give you a certain card. Paul, number two, the lady who is describing the argument very preposterous.
Yeah.
We understand her position. She may have acquired her card in 2019, but she was in Ghana when just recently the Ministry of Communication sought to do SIM card registration.
Yes.
And so it means that she's calling those Ghanaians who went through such difficulties preposterous.
No, the SIM card, there was a stubborn academy, you know them. Some people call themselves stubborn academy, that they will not comply.
Well, I don't know.
And those who joined them were the first casualties of this SIM problem, wasn't it?
We are not speaking for stubborn academy. We are speaking for Ghanaians.
Yes.
We are saying that there should be a neutral, fair ground for all Ghanaians to be able to exercise their rights. And that we have challenges with the system. The reality is that NIA itself does not have the logistics to make itself available for Ghanaians to register.
Yes.
So why the rush to get sort of close a window where people can cast their votes? So if you don't have a Ghana card, are you now a Togolese? Is that what we are saying? where if you go into the NIA regulation itself, a foreigner living in Ghana can acquire a Ghana card.
Yes, they can.
Yes. So if the...
And it's not illegal, by the way. It's correct.
Yes, it's not illegal.
All right.
So therefore, Ghana card itself being a basis for somebody to vote also poses a window where if we don't check well, foreigners will end up being on a register. Well, that's the argument. And so if you don't have a Ghana card, that is okay. But there should be a window because it's a progressive policy that will exist from years to years. And so we should not disenfranchise a Ghanaian who believes that I want to vote in 2024, and because I don't have a Ghana card, I should not vote. Number two, the fact that the NIA is seeking to commercialize the whole activity because the law allows it under regulation, I think 21, to charge fees and all of that. And so at this point in time, the NIA is charging 280 Ghana cedis. The NIA is operating in the region. So if you are in Ashanti region and you are coming from Ejura and you want a Ghana card on emergency, you have to prepare for 280 Ghana cedis. Again, you have to fare yourself from Ejura to Kumasi before you can get
another
a Ghana
100
card.
cedis in
If you do not have the money, how do you get?
The
So that is a discriminatory service.
It is price discrimination. I agree with you.
Yes.
Okay, we'll keep on following this story. So it's before Parliament now, isn't it?
It's before Parliament.
Okay.
And so we are saying that we shouldn't even have the conversation where Electoral Commission, Dr. Sriboy is pushing. We will not change our mind.
Should we file a writ at the Supreme Court?
Well,
is it part of the options open to us?
We believe that these conversations are very clear enough. If the NIA do not have anything to hide, if the Electoral Commission do not have anything to hide, don't forget that these are institutions that must gain public confidence in the discharge of their work. And that if they proceed on this vein, they are likely to lose public confidence. And so the credibility of the elections that will be organized would have been lost. And that we are actually saying that any attempt to proceed on this path is clearly hatching a strategy to rig 2024. And that Ghanaians are concerned, and the NDC is concerned.
Okay. I think that's a good one. Thank you very much. We're almost running out of time. We have another. Oh, you have a question? Yeah, one very quickly.
So, reports indicate that about 2.5 million people are not yet registered.
Right.
And the NIA is also saying about 800,000 cards are not yet picked up. So they've been printed, but the people have not received them. So I want to know this issue of some people being disenfranchised. Is it the case that perhaps they have registered, but they've not gone to pick up their cards, and then they say that I can't find the office, I don't know where I'll pick my card from? Maybe might that play a factor in the issue?
Under the NIA law itself, if you register for a Ghana card within 30 days, you should have your card. And so you are not able to have your card because they have logistics constraints, which are legitimate constraints anyway. That's one category. Another category is that...
Let me tell my producers to get ready the NDC rally song. Yeah? Get ready the NDC rally song. I'll play it for Mustafa.
Another category is that when the COVID started, most people wouldn't have had the opportunity to participate in the mass registration. So the NIA process should be continuous. They should be available every day. Why did they close down their offices? Because they don't have logistics. Okay. So if you don't have this logistics, why do you close the window where a Ghanaian, an innocent Ghanaian, who is willing to have a Ghana card, but you are not available to register him, should not participate in a voting? That is where the disenfranchising comes from. And that is why we say that proceeding on that path is a strategy to suppress data in order to rig 2024. And for us, it's not a conversation that we should have at all.
After you leave, we're going to have another conversation with Nana Jiman. He's going to talk to us about the Parliament passing of the We Bill.
Yes.
Do you have a personal position or a party position on it?
No. As a party, we don't have a position on it. But as an individual and a student of security, I've always thought that the causes of war, international war, is always about supply of resources. And that if marijuana is a source of income to alleviate poverty in our country, why not we can make it a national security or a security regulated industry where if you are farming marijuana, you should have security deployment in the farm. You can do it for the purposes of manufacturing and all of that, but not for the purposes of domestic consumption, so that people will smoke and all of that. So for me, as a student of security, this is my thought. But as a party, we have not issued any position on this yet.
So you think it's a good bill?
I think that is a good bill.
People say that there's only weed smokers who like this bill.
Well, then a lot of people, we have judges who smoke weed, we have police commanders who smoke weed, we have journalists who smoke weed, we have
You
lawyers.
know them or you are guessing?
I'm saying that we have.
And because of the people who support the bill.
Exactly. For whatever reason, they go into it. For medicinal purposes, I'm told that sometimes you have to use these chemicals. Even women, they use the fluid in weed, the oil, for their hair.
The CBD oil.
Yeah. So it's good for industrial purposes. If we can.
But when you smoke Abonsam Tower, you get mad.
I haven't smoked.
And you can't write the exam.
I haven't.
So we learned that Abonsam Tower, and that's why it's called Abonsam.
Well, one of my brothers told me that anytime he's having a stomach upset and he takes the marijuana,
it goes away.
Well, but that's what they think. But for me, in terms of industry, in terms of manufacturing, in terms of all of that, we can legalize it, but not for.
Okay. I'll end it here and I'll play this song for you. This is a rally that's one of my best NDC rallies that I covered in 2012. And Elvis Ankara is the voice is one of those that you hear. Let's see the NDC rally song.
Sana yekam. Yebeko. Yezu. Yo yeza. Atami to mama and this double. Yezu. What I say? Yebeko. Yezu. Atami to mama and this double. Atami say and this double. To mama and this. Atami say and this double. To mama and this. Atami say and this double. To mama and this. Mutia, Obianya di Ata Yezu Sana yekam Yebeko Yezu Yo Yeza Atami to mama
and this text is important. Let me read it. Look, I don't like text like that. I start and he says that don't mention my name. I didn't mention your name, saying, oh yeah, the Martinamidu story. The Martinamidu has been defending Godfrey Dame, and it's strange, isn't it? I'll talk about it. I think Godfrey Dame has a big God, doesn't he? Because Martinamidu is talking about him. Okay. Today is a birthday of somebody who is important to myself and Anajiman. Chief Ajiman, good evening. Welcome to the studio.
Good evening.
Can I say congratulations to you on the passage of this bill? 3 years ago, I hosted you on this show with your professor from America, and you canvassed for this position.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's not congratulations to me as such, Paul. It's congratulations to all Ghanaians, because this is a victory for all Ghanaians.
So what does it mean? I can smoke weed on the street?
No. We're not talking about weed at all.
It's not smoking matter.
No.
It's to export.
Smoking. It's industrial.
So if I smoke weed, I'll still be arrested?
Yes, of course. Why not? It's against the law.
Which law?
The law that we have at the moment.
Let's say happy birthday to Samantha, our boss. Can you put a photograph there? This is Samens's birthday. Happy birthday to you, Samens. Samens photograph I put in parliament. Is he a member of parliament? Wait, this is important. This is Samens and Thomas Partey. This is very, very, very important in the Arsenal dressing room. Oh, what is this going off? TV is going off. Sorry about that, viewers. All the monitors in the studio suddenly went off. We were scared that some police people have come here. Put back the Samens photographs. Let's do the big up to our boss. We're watching Samens and Thomas Partey, and then you just take the thing off like that. The PC is off. Are you sure no police has come here? At least there's a policeman downstairs, but we know. We don't want other people that we don't know. Okay. All right. A piece is gone off. And when it comes back, we'll deal with it. Najiman, give us understanding of what has happened.
Well, what has happened, thanks very much. What has happened is basically, as you know, the law was passed in 2020, March 2020. President assented May 2020. LI was written, they were all considering it, and then someone went behind and made a complaint, lodged a complaint at the Supreme Court, saying that one, there hadn't been a significant amount of debate of the amendment to the law, and two, it wasn't gazetted. Now that person, I went to court almost every time. I never saw that person.
Oh, you went in court, you followed the case?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Follow the case, never ever met the person, but always saw their lawyer there. Anyway, the Supreme Court upheld the plaintiff's claim and said that they agreed with them. It was against the Constitution. And so that was it.
Is Ibrahim still around? Tell him to get ready and ask Nanajiman some questions when we are done about the World Cup thing.
Yeah. So the AG filed a review. And basically, you know, the crux of the matter for the review was that the Supreme Court had no right dabbling in how Parliament conducts its affairs. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court was saying the way you conducted your affairs wasn't right, wasn't proper, as if you don't know what you're actually doing. So they also lost that case. They also lost that case.
But before they lost, the Speaker took the decision that let's pass the bill, and it's been passed now.
Well, it's been passed
full
now.
law.
It's been
so
passed
it means
now.
what? We should cultivate weed at my backyard?
No, hold on. You're still talking about weed, but
what
the law isn't talking about weed.
What is it talking about then?
The law is talking about industrial cannabis or industrial hemp. It's cannabis that has a THC content of 0.3.
THC content of 0.3.
Yes.
The one that they use for recreation has what content?
Up to 25%.
Oh, that's higher.
Yeah, it's completely different. It's completely different.
So if you were to smoke the industrial one and you are used to smoking the other one, you don't get anything from it?
Nothing.
You don't feel it?
Nothing.
You won't jump about?
Nothing at all. It's like
you won't play Stir It Up?
No.
Yo, darling, stir it up.
No, it's like drinking non-alcoholic wine. Nothing.
Oh, but it's useful for industrial.
It's useful for industrial.
I don't get that.
And it's useful for medicinal. Now you see, with industrial hemp, you can make hempcrete, which can build this entire building. Yeah? Hempcrete.
What's that?
Concrete.
Concrete, okay.
But it's hempcrete.
But it's made out of hemp.
Yeah, it's made out of
concrete block.
Yes, and it's stronger as well.
Really?
Of course it is.
Okay.
It's stronger.
And it's cheaper to make?
Not necessarily cheaper. You've got to combine it, you've got to mix it with lime, and that may not necessarily come cheap. So you can make hempcrete, you can make hemp wood, and the wood will be 20% stronger. Of course, you've got your paper. In the olden days, they made parachutes out of it. The ropes we see on our roads sometimes to stop us from speeding, made out of hemp. So there's so many things. The clothes you're making, so hemp textile. Everything plastic can be made out of hemp.
So when they say Canada makes 3 billion from exporting hemp, is it industrial?
No, they made 40 billion.
40
billion over 4 years. But that was recreational cannabis. That wasn't
you can
industrial.
export recreational and make that kind of money?
Of course.
What are they using the recreational for?
They wasn't exporting it. They were consuming it there in their country.
And they made 40 billion consuming it?
Yeah, tax.
How did they make the money?
Because people have to go and buy it, and it's taxed. It's taxed like about 22%.
Oh, it's expensive?
Yeah, it's expensive.
And more people were buying it?
Of course.
For recreational?
Of course.
That's just smoking?
Just smoking.
To be high?
Well, you are saying it.
And you think Stir It Up? So shouldn't we be doing that as well?
No, it takes time, you know.
How long?
You know how we are. It takes time to...
I like that.
No, well, we're slow.
You know how we are.
No, but we're slow. We're slow.
We are very slow. Yeah.
We're slow.
The young people are not slow like us, the old people, though.
No, they're not.
So they'll do it quick.
Well, we better be careful.
But why didn't Parliament look at it jointly? Industrial and recreational?
Yeah, because I've just told you, because you know how we are, and there's a very strong religious lobby.
Religion?
Yeah, there's a strong religious lobby that threatens the powers that be, or we won't vote for you if you push this through. It's quite tough.
Oh, but people drink alcohol? Who smoke cigarette, they
yeah,
smoke shisha.
but you've accepted all of that. That's now a
because
norm.
it came from the white man or something.
Well, I don't know.
I don't get how religion will say don't legalize.
Oh, they will. They will. Look.
Which aspect of it? Catholic or what?
No, all of them. All of them. Yeah, of course. Meanwhile, they're the biggest consumers.
The religious people?
Yeah, of course.
How do you know that?
Well, I mean, 80% of our population are Christian, 15% Muslim, 5% the rest.
Yeah.
Ghana is ranked 3rd in terms of cultivation and consumption on the continent, behind Nigeria and
recreational
South Africa.
consumption of the illegal product.
Of course.
We are number 3.
3 on the continent.
Oh, but if I were a member of parliament, I would raise this for the speaker that we need to consider, because it means our people want to do it.
Yeah, relax. It's not they
is
want
it killing
to
our
do
people
it.
though? Is
no,
it killing them?
They are doing it.
But is it killing our people?
No, it's not.
Has it got a corresponding database that shows that
not at
X
all.
number of Ghanaian youth who are using marijuana are dying? They're not able to write the exams. Exams time they run away. They go naked and run on TK and UST campus. They are playing too much, stir it up.
No, they do that when they drink alcohol. That's what they do.
Reggie Rockstone said.
Yeah.
Reggie Rockstone said people who smoke weed are calm.
No, they're very calm.
How do you know that?
They're very, very calm.
How do you know that?
Oh, personal experience. You think I'm afraid to
What's
accept
a personal
that?
experience?
I've smoked marijuana before.
Call the Greater Accra Regional Police Commander.
He can't do anything about it.
He's confessing to something.
He can't do anything about it.
He can't?
Not at all.
He would arrest you?
No. For
Why
what?
not?
For what?
For illegality.
Oh, come on.
Come on?
Come on. He can't do it.
Wow. But I like the way you have been interested in this matter, including the data. Is it for economic purposes? Do you have a farm or something like that?
Yeah, there are farms there.
No, do you have a farm?
Yes, I do.
Oh, then they should let you cultivate. Are you going to start cultivating the industrial?
Well, if I get a license, if I'm lucky and I apply for a license and I get a license, of course I will.
So to apply tomorrow?
No, you can't apply yet.
Why?
It's not time to apply yet.
When can we apply?
There's a small process first.
When?
Well, we'll see. Let the process happen. Trust the process.
Would you need a lawyer to help you to file the application?
No, not at all.
I hope you get a license, because you've been keen on this for a very long time.
Well, I hope so too.
Your commitment to the process should be rewarded. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I believe so. Okay, Najma, let's talk football now. If we are done with it.
Oh, come on.
He's here. Ibrahim Zebrila is our sports guy. He's just telling me some good news. Ghana has been drawn along with Mali, after all. Mali.
Group of death again.
Oh, no, it's not. We'll
Chad,
beat them.
Comoros.
So tell us, what do we have? Give us the list of the...
Ghana have been drawn together in Group I with Mali, Comoros, Madagascar, and Chad. So I'd like to get Nanajiman's opinion on what he thinks, because you know the other we've played Comoros, they beat us in the African Cup. We played Madagascar, we couldn't beat them at home. We played Central African Republic, we couldn't beat them at home, and we have a game with them in our last game in the African qualifier. It seems that when we are playing against teams who use the low block, who are defend, we struggle to create chances. What do you think are the Black Stars' chances?
No.
Mali, we beat them in 2009 to qualify for 2010. When we wanted to qualify for the 2010 World Cup.
I remember that. Yes. Yeah. Okay, but Najman,
so what do you think are chances?
Well, I mean, normally I would say yes, we go through. Now I'll tag it as a group of death.
How is it a group of death, though? All these names they are mentioned, Chad, Madagascar.
No.
These are people Polo was dribbling them every day.
Yeah, but that was years ago. How many decades was that?
Actually, 3 decades.
Yeah. How many decades? How many decades since we even won African Cup of Nations?
1982. I was in class 2.
Exactly. So that's.
And I'm old now.
That's another 40 years. You're still a young man, Paul.
No, I'm quite old.
That's another 40 years. I mean, I wouldn't put money on it. Trust me.
I'm disappointed at what you're saying.
No, you got to be real. What have we done so far?
We can't beat this group and go to the World Cup. But we beat Nigeria to go to the World Cup. Nigeria of all people.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. We did. It was a lucky goal as well. Do you remember the goal?
Thomas Partey's goal?
Yeah, it was a lucky goal.
How is it lucky?
Well, even the fans said their grandma could have saved that. The ball went under the keeper. I don't know what he was doing.
Okay, you're a coach, so your opinion is better.
I don't know.
But I watched the game in Kumasi at the stadium, and we were okay.
That was a good game.
We were okay. We were very okay. Yeah. And it gave us a lot of hope.
Well, we had the 12th man, which was the supporters. And that's what urged us on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I panicked a little bit. I thought you were going to say the referee.
No.
Yeah, the support in Kumasi was amazing.
Yeah,
I was in the stadium. It was powerful. Wow.
I mean, these days you just can't put it on the Ghana Black Stars, no matter who they bring. They just seem so uncoordinated, like misfit kind of thing.
But we have Mohamed Kudus. He's going to play for Liverpool or Man United next season, I hear.
That doesn't matter. the players that he will be playing with in Manchester United and Liverpool are not the same.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
Has Christianity always been one of the religions in the world to you?
Oh, hallelujah. Praise God. Christianity is not a religion, neither is it a joining of a church and doing the Christian things like praying and giving and so on. Hallelujah. Christianity is the outworking of God's own kind of life received into the spirit of a man. Whoa! This divine life in the heart of a man makes him righteous, keeps him healthy, divinely guided in life, prosperous and victorious. It gives you the ability to enjoy intimate fellowship with the Father and have dominion on this earth. Hallelujah. This is what awaits you if you will wholeheartedly believe that Jesus is the Son of God raised from the dead and personally confess him as the Lord of your life. Glory to God.
Hallelujah. Join Dr. David Binder on the Good Life Devotion every Monday to Friday on this channel and receive truth that will usher you into exhibiting the divine life.
Kindly note that you can enjoy the Good Life Devotion on these other platforms at their stated times. Do choose the most convenient one for you or switch to another in case of a broadcast challenge with your usual platform. By all means, don't miss the Good Life Devotion any day. Now, welcome to today's episode with Dr. David Binden.
Wow, praise the Lord. Hallelujah, hallelujah. I am so excited once again to welcome you to today's special episode of our favorite Good Life Devotion. It has been awesome this week looking at the subject of a peaceful life. We have come so far in the teaching. And so if you missed all the episodes so far, take your time, just watch this one. After that, go back to our YouTube channel, download the rest, and just watch them, okay? Your life will never be the same. We're talking about a peaceful life. We began first by defining what a peaceful life is. And in our definition, we differentiated what a peaceful life is according to God and what the world may call a peaceful life. For the world, the moment there are no obvious and physical, external confusions, mayhem, war, there's peace in this area. But that's no peace because an area cannot be said to be peaceful until the citizens are each enjoying peaceful lives. Turning to the scriptures, we realize from Isaiah 26 verse 3 that a peaceful life is what is called perfect peace. It says that you will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee because he trusted in thee. And we went into the Hebrew and realized that it meant shalom, shalom. And we understood what that means. The complete understanding of shalom, shalom is a state of completeness, a state of soundness, and a state of tranquility. Completeness means